So I've done about 15 videos now at this point, and some are okay, some are much worse than that. And essentially over the last 15 videos, I've learned a handful of things just being new to YouTube, both with shorts and longer-ish format videos. So I figured now is good a time as any to go through my list of things that I can think of that I've learned over the last 15 or so videos that I've done. Now, these aren't going to be in any particular order, and some of them are really big items, some of them are really small, but regardless, they're all still super important. And each of them have made me a better person and better at just making these videos in general. So hopefully you enjoy this. So my very first item, shorts. Short form videos are a completely different beast than longer form videos. So a short in my book, and according to YouTube, is anything shorter than 3 minutes, and it's obviously in the vertical format normally. It's something you normally look at on your phone. Now, you almost got to look at shorts as a completely different platform than regular YouTube. It's almost like if you were to just post it on TikTok as opposed to YouTube. So like completely different format, completely different way to approach the video, completely different editing style, completely different everything. You almost got to format it towards brain rot and just like really, really, really clicky. Whereas opposed to long form video, you at least get like 3 or 4 seconds in before people are willing to click off. With shorts, it's got to be like instantaneous. It's got to be within the first second, if not like within the first 0.2, 0.3 of a second. It's got to hook really, really fast. And that's not something that I'm used to. And honestly, I've only made 2 short form videos so far. I think both of them just kind of suck. I cringe at both of them, to be totally fair with myself and everyone else watching. So if you do decide to watch those, they suck. I know it. Everyone else knows it. If you look at it, you'll know it. Yeah, they're not too terribly great. So short form, it's unique experimenting with that. Item number 2, I've learned how to speed up my train of thought and speed up how I communicate things, along with using fewer ums and ahs in my language. Now, I do still use them. I'm not perfect, whatever, by any means necessary. And you've probably already heard a few of them within this video so far. So I'm not perfect, but I do notice them more often. So naturally I correct them more often. And even now that I'm hitting on this, I'm finding that I'll say it much less. Use ums and ahs much, much less, and just focusing on how I communicate much more. Item number 3 is I've learned how to live with the cringe. Like I mentioned moments before, every time I post one of these, there's a little bit of cringe that happens visually, like actually happens within me. I look at the screen and just go, ugh. I know how much effort it takes to do a great video. And, well, at least I know what I know, and I don't know that there's a lot more that I don't know. But to make a great video takes so many hours, and there's a certain skill set that you need that I currently do not have, and I respect it a lot. I'm gonna hit on that later. But learning to live with the cringe is something that, again, I've had to live with over the last like 3-4 weeks now. And it's an interesting one because my very first short, the first of 2 so far, it had like 800 to 900 views, something like that. Granted, most people clicked off. It was only like a 20% meaningful watch rate. But still, there was 800 to 900 people that on my phone for a brief moment, I was there. That blows my mind. And just having to live with the thought that I know that video was cringe. I made it. I posted it. I edited it. It was cringe. Just having to live with that on 1,000 people's phone, 10,000, 100,000, like things scale. In theory, there could be millions of people watching this, and that, I'm just gonna have to learn to live with the cringe. There's just a bit of that. And I know in 5-10 years, I'm gonna look back at this video likely and cringe at this, but so be it. So I've had to learn with the cringe. That's my 3rd item for you. Number 4, splitting up videos into definitely long form and definitely short form. What I mean by this is the first 13, 14 videos or so, they were all longer form videos, so they weren't technically shorts. They were over 3 minutes, but they weren't long either, okay? I was doing this weird 3 to 5-ish minute range video, and they worked okay, but it wasn't hyper optimized for anything in particular. So what I mean by that is a short form video, sub 3 minutes, is you pack a bunch of information in, and you have, it's really hooky. So you have a hook that just really catches attention, and then you just slam information in the user's face. And my first one was only like 45 or 47 seconds long. So it was really, really snappy, and it delivered the information that I wanted it to. And it was perfect for just a quick view. Having a 3 to 5 minute long video was short enough to where I could tell everything just the same as like a 45-second video, but it wasn't long enough to really give the depth on anything that I wanted to give it. So either it needs to be like 10 plus minutes in order to go into the depth that it deserves, or it's not really that important and it can be said in less than 2 minutes, is my philosophy right now. And if there's a bunch of small items that don't really make sense for a long form video, then I should just make it into a bunch of short form. That's just what I've determined so far. Obviously, I haven't made too many of these. I've only done 2 short forms so far, but that's the lesson I've learned, is if I'm going to do a long form, do a long form and try to shoot for over 10 minutes. And if we're gonna do short form, really go short. I found that sub a minute is pretty easy to write the script for. It's pretty easy to shoot the video for. It's pretty easy to edit. And it just makes it easy for the audience to where you can just pick up your phone, you can look at the short, and at tops it's a minute. There isn't a whole lot of effort expended, and you don't feel like you've wasted all that much time if you've only wasted a minute and you found that that video was just absolute trash. You never want to watch my stuff again. At least that's my opinion so far, having only made 2 short form videos and reflected on the only 15 videos that I've ever done so far for this channel. My opinion's probably going to change as time goes on, but that's my opinion as of right now. Item number 4, splitting up content between short and long form video. Item number 5, for my second short form video, I posted my failure of 4 days of not being as productive as I should have. But I realized after I posted the video that it probably didn't make any sense unless you had watched everything beforehand, which that's not the point of a short form video. The short form video is to get all of the information you need right then and there. You can pick up anywhere in the timeline of all of my videos. You can watch that and it just makes sense by itself. And I realized I didn't do that. So when posting a failure, I need to post what the failure was and why it's a failure, all within that minute. And I don't believe I did that for this last video that I posted literally earlier today. And that frustrates me because I know this now and it's likely gonna get 0 views, and that's totally fine. If nobody else watches it, that's fine. But just learning myself that I messed up on this, it's frustrating. So not going to make that mistake moving forward, hopefully. Item number 6, when using an external microphone, make sure that it's actually recording and using said microphone, because if it's not and the audio is trash, it just sucks. So I had this one shoot early on, and it was like within the first 5 videos. And I did the entire thing. I thought I did great. It was like a 1 or 2 take. It was just smooth. Uploaded the video to computer, start editing, and why is the audio so trash right now? It was just horrible. It was kind of muffled. You could hear weird sounds. It just wasn't good. And I realized the mic wasn't working. It was just working from my phone that was a few feet away. Frustrating. So whenever using an external microphone like this, double check, make sure it's actually recording. I always do like a mic check now to make sure that everything's working correctly, because that was so frustrating. I've only made that mistake once, and I hope that is my last time. It probably won't be the last time, but I hope it will. So that's item number 6. Item number 7 is there is much more to making videos than at first meets the eye. I've never really made videos. It's just not really been my thing. I haven't wanted to. There's not been really the opportunity professionally. I just haven't. So now that I'm sitting down and making these, there's so much I have to think about. Even just because obviously these videos are extremely low edit. There's very low production value here. I know this, you know this, everyone knows this, okay? If you just look at any of these, it's not like it's a professional here. But even just the fact of cutting out the ums, the ahs, and dead space in the video, and then making sure the audio sounds correct, that in and of itself is its own job. It's tedious, it's kind of annoying. Then there's like color production, there's titles, there's just text anywhere on screen, there's doing different transitions, there's B-roll to think about. Then there's a whole other level of like, even just with B-roll, thinking about B-roll, shooting B-roll correctly with the different angles and making sure that transitions well with everything else that you're doing. Making sure that when you're writing like your script or the general idea of the video, you have all that outlined in so much more depth and detail, and there's so much more rehearsal beforehand to make sure that it's all executed correctly. There's whole other levels to video production that now as I go through this, I'm like, oh, there's a list of 1,000 different things that I could be doing way better. I could put 20, 100 times more effort or skill into on each of these items, and the video would just be so much better for it. So I respect people now who make great YouTube videos or just great videos in general. This makes me think about the video making process so much more. So I've definitely learned that and learned much more about making, shooting, and editing videos. It's been a good process so far though. Item number 8. Now, posting every day, it's difficult. This is not an easy process. So there's the first part of doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing every day, which is tracking if I'm building, selling, or recruiting every day. So I need to build, sell, or recruit every day, 7 days a week. I'm used to working 6 days a week. So I'm working more often than normal, and I'm doing tasks that I wasn't necessarily doing beforehand. And I have to now record a video every single day, something I haven't ever done before, and then post it after editing it every single day. That's the thought, at least. So just doing this project, just making sure that I'm conscious and aware of what I'm doing every single day, and then encapsulating that, summarizing it correctly into a video format to be posted publicly for the entire world to see. It's been an interesting process. I've definitely learned quite a bit. I have a lot more respect for those who do it really, really well. Item number 9, getting a lot of views is partially daunting. Now, that short that I recorded, the very first one that got 800 to 900 views, almost 1,000 people have seen that. That's something that, I don't know, for the last few days, it's just kind of tripped me up that there's so many people that can watch this. I really have to be careful as to what I post and how I post it, and partially for everyone else. The other part is me being happy with what I release, knowing that in 10 years from now, it could very well still be there. And if it's poor, or if I make a judgment call that was absolutely horrible, it's here now. That's a daunting thought. It's fun, it makes things exciting, but daunting nonetheless. Item number 10. I believe that I've learned my own weaknesses quite a bit better. Now, every day that I have to sit down and summarize what I did throughout the day, it makes me think about tomorrow and what I'm supposed to do better at that time. But in the moment, it also makes me think, like, when there's moments in which I don't want to do the thing I'm supposed to do. For example, I've sent out 45, I don't know if it's probably doesn't show up very well, but I sent out 45 DMs just earlier. And it's just kind of a tedious process. It's not necessarily thrilling, and you don't get any real instant gratification because most people don't respond immediately, which is okay, that's fine. But I find that there are moments in which there's hesitation to do it, or just friction going into the task. And I notice that more often now, especially that I'm supposed to be doing this every day, then creating a video about it every single day. I've learned at what points there are more or less friction, and I've learned to structure my days in which set me up for the most success. So I think that's been a really, really important thing, quite honestly, is just knocking this out of the way early on in the day, to where later in the day I can focus on selling or other managerial or even just creative tasks, or even tedious tasks, just stuff being an adult and a business owner that I just don't want to do. As long as I get the important thing done early in the day, that's a win. Taking from Alex Hormozi's playbook, dedicating the first roughly 4 hours of the day to just doing the highest leverage tasks is just a really smart idea. As of this week, I've been using the first 4 hours of the day to either create a video, which I did that earlier this morning, or using it for recruiting. So I'm likely going to be doing a bit of both going into the busier times of this year. Instagram DMs. I think this is a good segue. Now, I've sent out roughly 1,000 DMs so far over the last handful of weeks, and I don't know if I just had incorrect expectations, or I haven't done enough volume, or both, which is highly likely, but I would have expected to get somebody for recruiting by now. And again, maybe I just, actually, right now it's clicked. I probably don't have anything on my Instagram profile now, thinking about it. And I probably just look like a bot account. Yeah, I haven't looked at my own profile in so long. That's probably what it is. I'm probably hurting my own conversions just because my own account doesn't look that professional. Okay, cool. Note to self, right now you're hearing it first. I'm going to do a photo shoot, and I need to create some videos like this, maybe even use some of this content that we're using for YouTube. Post that to Instagram, use this for recruiting purposes. Cool. All right, I've solved my own problem there. Look at that, learning new things every day. Cool. Now, last but not least, I believe I have just been able to communicate and convey information better, okay? I can tell stories a little bit better. I think about how I speak a bit more. I think about what I say more often. I think about how I look. I think about the shot. I think about eye contact. Even just the choice of using glasses and being able to look here, but then, or like have my face facing here, but my eyes right here to be able to read scripts or read text or reference other things. Been very useful. Hopefully all of these items are helpful for you. Maybe you create content on YouTube, maybe you don't, and you're just watching this for fun. Or maybe you're looking back at this after it's been released for a handful of years and you just think it's a funny video to watch. Regardless of the reason, I hope you found something useful here today. So on that, keep watching, appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next video.